My name is Tasso Melisaris. I'm the product director for Covia. And I'm going to talk today about new products, new processes after the introduction of IdeaScale in our company, which took place about 15 months ago. Covia is a new company, and we became a publicly traded company last June with a merger of Fairmount Sandroll that has been around more than 100 years, plus Unimin. We have now about 3,000 employees. Fairmount Sandroll had about 1,000. Unimin brought another 2,000, so we are 3,000 employees. Now, why am I showing this map? Because this map is going to tell the whole story, why we had to implement IdeaScale. Before the merger, as you can see here, FAMSA, these are all the yellow and orange dots. This shows all the plants that we had with Fairmount Sandroll. We had sand mines, also resin-coated propan plants, many over 50 terminals in all North America, also in China, also in Denmark, Europe, and so on. Now, after the merger, you can see all the blue lines, which is the Unimin plants. Now, we have more than 50 processing plants, 1.4 billion ton in sand reserves, over 70 terminals just for the energy division. We're 50-50, 50%. The energy division, 50% industrial and recreational, or else we call it INR. Plus annual capacity, 50 million ton. If you take a quick look about the product innovation that is going on with our company, you can see here we have high purity, 99.9% microcrystalline silica, which is a great resource for what? For hydraulic fracturing, for oil and gas operators, but also to make the nice glass bottles of beer that we enjoy. 90% of those glass bottles, they are made out of our silica. Then we have resin-coated propans. I'm going to talk about it in a few minutes, plus Propel SSP. My focus here also, I need to talk, it's about Unifrac dust shield. What's happening? Silica creates silicosis. Silicosis happens to be a Greek word, which means what? Cancer of the lungs. Now, because we are very reputable, environmentally conscientious company, we developed a special chemical solution processing that is so inert, it's like FDA contact type of a benign coating. We put it on the fraction, on our sand, and reduces now the respirable silica dust below the new OSHA rule that went into effect a few months ago. So the OSHA rule reduced it to 50 micrograms per cubic meter, and now we get even down to 25, while until a few months ago it was 100 micrograms per cubic meter for 8-hour time weighted average. So, and this now is taking off this Unifrac dust shield. So some people, here they told me, you guys sell frac sand and so on, which is bad for the environment and so on. We can talk about it in a few minutes, in a few seconds further down. So markets, oil and gas, glass that we talk, sports and recreation. When you play golf at golf courses, a lot of that sand is our sand. And also for various events like beach volley or all these kind of venues, they have, our sand because it's high quality, high performance. Now, let's talk about, before we get to the details, about our resin-coated propans. What happens? This is a horizontal well, and this is a fracture where the fraction goes under high pressure to open up the rock to allow oil and natural gas to come out. So what happens here, if you don't put resin, a lot of formation sand comes out, and then it comes to the top, to the surface. And then what happens? When it comes out sand, it also brings waxes, paraffins, and other high and low molecular weight products, byproducts from down the earth, 12, 15,000 feet. The operator now, the oil companies, they have to purify that before they throw that, to dispose it off. We came up with a major invention that we put resin-coated propan either at the end, 20% for resin tail-in, or we do the whole fracture. And this does what? The particles react to each other, So they stop sand formation or anything else to come out. So you see here is clean, but also they enhance the productivity of the well, which means operators now don't have this hazardous waste coming out to the surface that they have, to chemically treat it and dispose it off, but also because they increase their EUR, which means estimated ultimate recovery, they have to drill and complete fewer wells, which is again another environmental benefit, and benefits, financially, environmentally. And that's why we're proud of these technologies that we have introduced for the last decades. And we are still the leader. Now, because we had over 50 mines and plants, and we were so spread out, we tried to run the innovation process based on Excel sheets, based on telecoms and so on. It didn't work out. The participation level was less than 5%. As soon as people would get involved, excited, something else would happen, another project, another task, and then they would walk away. Because there was no continuous communication, reminder, there was, that the Facebook style that I like to tell our people, when they join IdeaScale. So I personally phone interviewed and I had webinars with over 12 of open innovation management software platforms. From the very high end all the way to the bottom. It took us about 6 months. We wanted to be easy of use. Ease of use, why? We have a lot of folks at the terminals, and they are folks, great workers, and they have a degree either from elementary school or middle school or high school, and the message from them was do not implement something high-tech, extremely difficult, because it's only for you guys, the scientists, to use it. For that way, we wanted something, a platform that would be ease of use, competitive cost, because our top management sees to it, they said, we don't know if this platform is going to deliver return on investment, as you guys, as you are telling us, plus excellent technical support. So we spent time on the phone a few times and webinars with my friend Josh Falk there, and Sanja, and Jessica, and then other 11 companies were out, and IdeaScale was in. So that was a great opportunity for us to prove to our company that we had a great platform, so now it was time for us to engage people and then deliver on our promises. So we introduced the platform in June of 2017. So for the first month, it was Yana Gur, a colleague of mine, the marketing communications manager, myself and Sanjay, we worked weekends, nights. Why? This was a part-time job for us. We were just volunteers. During the regular business hours, we had to do our regular job. And because we believed in this platform so much, we're working, on weekends and overtime and so on. Within the first 3 months, we identified champions at the 45 terminals, at the different, plants. Why? We wanted those champions to become our ambassadors. So what we did, we identified folks that were high-energy people who had excellent team and interpersonal skills, and they were leaders in their field. We also started with e-blasting, excellent session here about communication and engagement, So we had Yana Gur, who's an excellent marketing communications manager with very catchy, very unique e-blast communications and articles. I was writing the articles, from a process development style, so everything worked out very well. Here you can see Wedron, Illinois, our biggest mine, and this is the processing plant that purifies the silica before we ship it. Okay, so the first 3 months, we identified the moderators, and some of them, they happen to be also SMEs, subject matter experts. So these were the guys, and some of these folks, they were also sustainable development coordinators. And we like to have SD coordinators. Why? Because these coordinators had been assigned 7 or 8 different plants. So every week, they would travel to different places, and they would be our ambassadors, spreading out the good word about IdeaScale. We did a beta launch initially with only 20 folks. Oops. Okay, at the different plants. Did we have glitches? Of course we had glitches. With our IT department, between the platform was 100% compatible and so on. But these guys were, the 20 employees were folks who would not go out and say, oh, the platform failed, This is it, we are quitting. These were, fighters, that we recruited purposely to deliver value, and they were committed. So after a month or two with a beta launch, then we went to full-blown implementation of IdeaScale, the platform, and then within 12 months, we were delighted to report to upper management we had over 500% improvement on idea submission and review versus the previous year. Now, how we did that? From the beginning, we developed a solid process, and I think that has to do why we have been successful. In addition to running specific campaigns when there was an unmet customer need or a specific need from the operations department, manufacturing, to cut costs in a certain area, we run in parallel, and we still run 4 major campaigns. Anybody who has an idea about product innovation and business innovation, the person has to go submit the idea here. I think we can go buy a different mine or a different company. The idea will go product and business innovation. We have best practices, operations, and this is also about safety, okay? Then we have general ideas. We had so many folks from the terminals, people from HR, people from the legal department, people from accounting. They say, something, we are not scientists, engineers, we don't have any ideas about new product development. How our voices can be heard. We said, okay, we'll create a general ideas campaign so you can go put there your ideas. And then because we are committed to protecting our environment, we have 12 sustainable development teams. Some of these teams, they go plant trees, others they do water analysis in neighborhoods and communities free of charge. We have 12 of these teams, and we created a campaign for sustainable value chain. Here is an overview of what we said earlier. Any idea that is going to contribute to the growth and profitability of our company goes to the bucket for product and business innovation. Any idea that is going to reduce our operating costs or increase our safety at the different groups, departments, locations, terminals, it goes under best practices. General ideas about employee retention program, about wellness, about legal, about sustainable development, it goes under general ideas, and ideas that focus on how to reduce environmental footprint, they go under sustainable value chain. Sometimes some of the ideas that are submitted under the SVC here, they may have to move under best practices or vice versa. So that's why when we talk about the SME teams, we have subject matter experts teams, and we have folks that overlap in experience between best practices and SVC, so we don't have to duplicate efforts. Next, this is the idea flowchart for the product innovation campaign. And Rob told me that after dinner, after a few drinks, we're going to have a quiz on this chart. So it's simple, though, because most of the revenues for our company are generated from the product and business innovation campaign. We spend extra time to develop this idea flowchart. So what happens here, a community member submits an idea, goes to the product innovation campaign. Then we have created 2 SME teams, sub-teams we call them. One for oil, if the idea focuses for the oil and gas market, it's reviewed by the SME-T, SME, subject matter expert team for oil and gas, or if it's for INR, it's for beer-related battles and so on, it goes to INR. Now, after the initial review, if the idea shows promise, what we do? Then we assign an idea moderator. Initially, when we started this program, the idea submitters, they felt so passionately about their ideas, and they wanted to be the idea moderators. After a while, we realized the system was not working very effectively. Why? Because I submitted an idea, I would be so passionately involved and emotional about my idea, so I would overemphasize my business case. And then that, after a few months, we said that the idea moderator has to be somebody else. It cannot be the idea submitter. Initially, we found some pushback, But eventually, everybody realized that was for the good, for the growth of our company, so that's what we do. I submit an idea. I cannot be the idea moderator, but I can be one of the SME, subject matter expert there. But it's not just my vote there. There are other 4 or 5 people, scientists, engineers, and business folks, to evaluate the idea, and in that way, there is no one vote to move the idea forward and so on. Now, after we finish with this one, and the idea still looks good, here we have the idea review committee. We created, this is the advisory committee, where we have included vice presidents and a few senior vice presidents. The reason being what? If everything works perfectly, once a quarter, I prepare just a 30-minute presentation for the idea review committee, so I update them all the good stuff that took place with IdeaScale. However, if they receive a phone call or they see an email before the end of the quarter, then they know that I need their help to remove roadblocks. So in that way, we update the VPs and senior VPs about the progress that we make, and because they are involved and informed, anytime we need them to remove a roadblock or allocate some resources at the terminal level or at the accounting department or R&D department for idea review, to help us periodically review ideas, these are the guys who remove the obstacles for us. So we have engagement and participation from the top. Now, after we finish here, and the idea still looks good, it goes here. This is a Covia proprietary algorithm. So we have created an internal algorithm that takes into account several parameters. And this goes from 0 to 40, the composite index. If the ISE idea screen card gets greater than 25 number, the composite index, then the idea is a go and moves to the stage gate for disciplined product development. If it's between 20 and 25, we park that idea for short term. If the idea gets below 20, we say, we just voted your idea, and until the market, the person says, so when are you going to review again my idea? And then we have to say, maybe you have to wait until the market changes. Maybe the price of oil has to go $100 per barrel, and then your idea will become beneficial to our company. So in that way, vaulting the idea is for longer term, parking is for the short term. Next. So this is the idea funnel where we have taken the IdeaScale funnel management, and we have merged that with stage gate product development process. So in this way, what happens? At stage 0, all the previous work that we talked here, this is done at stage 0, which is still part of IdeaScale. Next, the idea is good. If the idea screen card is greater than 25, then it moves to the feasibility study, which is stage 1, where R&D spends 2 or 3 weeks to do some experimentation to prove that it makes sense or not to make it an R&D project. If R&D, after 2 or 3 weeks, they tell us, you know something, the technical probability of success is only 10 or 15%, we're not going to pursue it, we're going to kill the project. So if R&D says, we have the technical capability to deliver a new product, it moves to stage 2, which is the official product development phase. If it passes there, now in every stage, at the end of every stage, we have meetings. Why? Because many times it's better to kill a project early on in the development rather than waste company resources, and then we get to the bottom at the end when it's for commercialization, and then we say, oops, the product is too expensive, there is no margin left, we cannot sell it, you know. So after we finish with a scale up, and field trials, then the product is commercialized. After commercialization, 6 months later, we get together and we do a lessons learned review. We are honest with ourselves and we find out what went well, what went not that well about the product development, the product launch, or the business case. Sometimes we catch ourselves to say, oh, you know, we were, let the business case be a little too lax, we didn't ask for more data and so on. Or other cases, we say, oh, everything worked out perfectly, so everything was in great shape, so we're very happy. So those lessons learned are captured at the stage 5. Now, as soon as the product is commercialized at stage 4, then it moves back to IdeaScale. We have created a stage, success stage. So All of our employees who submit ideas, they are members of IdeaScale, they go to stage 6 as an example, and they say, oh, all these ideas have been completed, so we are doing something good. We submit ideas, the company is working on those ideas, we deliver value, so it's good. It's, you know, we are proud for people to go there and see the success rate that we have. Stage 7 is the park, as we said earlier, for short term, maybe for 2 or 3 or 4 months. If we are to kill an idea, we vault it for the long term, and then we review them once a year, every December, every year if there is potential. Also, we have the stage 9 on IdeaScale I have created that this is for proprietary ideas. Some of our folks, they submit an idea, and I scan it I'm the super administrator, and I have other 4 administrators for IdeaScale at different facilities. If we see an idea is so unique that is going to create hundreds of millions of dollars for our company, I go and I pull it out of the general circulation, and we put it in the proprietary ideas. So here I have given access 6 or 7 vice presidents and senior vice presidents. If the idea is so unique that we need to review it quickly, we do so, or else on a quarterly basis. If the idea after that meeting still appears to be proprietary, we work it outside of the general flow, okay? Because there is employee turnover and so on. We try to protect ourselves. Sometimes we take this idea, we say, you know something, it's not that unique, and then from here, it goes back to stage 1 or 2. One more thing. Now, in order to engage and motivate our idea moderators, SMEs, subject matter experts, and so on, we give them a nice mix of projects. We give them some that they show short-term successes, 2 to 3 months, but also we give them longer-term projects, 12 to 18 months. So with the short-term projects, they have small wins, and they feel excited about that opportunity and continue to deliver, you know, value for the longer term. So we don't let them just have in long-term projects, or we don't let them only short-term. The short-term projects are just for small wins. They are not going to double the size of our company, but we need that for everybody to be engaged and excited and know that there is value that is created with their engagement and participation. And then we hold the periodic idea review meetings on a monthly basis. Now, when we talk about the other now campaigns, like the best practices, sustainable value chain, and general ideas, you can see here the idea flow chart is simpler. So we have the review, assessment, implementation, success stage, park, and vault. And you can see that here, with the idea submission, it goes comments, voting, and so on. Now, we utilize the idea ranking based on idea scale, based on the hottest ideas and based on the most popular ideas, but we don't use just that one. We also have the SMEs to do a review of those ideas, and then it's a combination of what we get from the hottest ideas, the most popular ideas, and what the subject matter expert team is going to decide. So through that combination, we decide which ideas are going to move forward, okay, to the different sub-teams for idea review, or we are going to park them. After we finish and the idea is successful, how to cut costs, let's say in the sand mine on a resin-coated plant or to a terminal, then we do the assessment of that idea in one of our major plants. It's like a pilot testing. As soon as it passes the assessment level, then we move to implementation, and then we pass it through all the 50 processing plants, and so on. Now, after the first year, what's the assessment? We had over 500% increase in ideas over the previous year that we were working out of the Excel sheet based on telecoms and so on. We had 17% engagement of the workforce. That was 100% increase versus the previous year. So for us, that's very impressive. Why? Because we have 50 plants, we have 70 terminals, so spread, you know, folks all around the US, Canada, Mexico, Denmark, China. An estimated of $10 million in new revenues will be realized based on the new ideas submitted to IdeaScale from the product innovation bucket campaign, and then about $2 million in cost savings from the best practices campaign and sustainable value chain. The team lead for introducing IdeaScale to the company a Sustainable Development Business Innovation Leader, was awarded the Sustainable Development Employee of the Year and the Founders Award. That person happens to be me. Thank you. And I managed to persuade the advisory committee. That's why we need to update them on a quarterly basis so they know about our successes and so on, that there was a need for us to include in the budget to hire a full-time person, and that's why we hired a process innovation engineer who manages the IdeaScale platform. What's next? We are excited to expand IdeaScale from the legacy Fairmount Sandro to the legacy Unimin folks. That the merger is completed now, but the IT platforms now between the two companies are going to be fully integrated this December, by mid-December. So we'll be delighted to fill all the rest of the users of the seats that we have with IdeaScale, with legacy Unimin folks. And as our legal department and our investor relations department asked me to put here the statement, financial estimates generated from IdeaScale should not be considered part of the company publicly reported estimates for financial results. If you need to learn more about Covia, that's the address. Thank you very much.